This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of our guided walk. My name is Sydney Fumurani Mikosi and I'm traveling with Senzo as well as Herbert, who is my game scout this morning. We are going to try by all means and get you see quite a lot of tiny little animals, including the big cats as a bonus. I heard that Hosanna took an impala somewhere around Vyotela Pen. That is where I'm going to first check. And I also got the updates that Tingana was also seen in the very same area during the night. For in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So we will be going to Vyotela Pen, where I'm hoping Hosanna has got something up into a tree. So it's peace and quiet here where I am at the moment, and the wind is not too much and the weather is overcast, which is very good for the guided walks. The chances of seeing a lot this morning, they are very much high. But quite a lot of insects are not yet convinced when it comes to the availability of flowers and availability of water. None of your business. Yes, indeed, they are having a derby somewhere around the Vyotela Pen. I want to get to that derby. There's just quite a lot of droppings here, and I am not seeing the lot of insects yet. Never too late. Last night we have only received a little bit of rain. It was just drizzling. The weather was promising. There was some thunder, too much lightning, but nothing really happened here. The grass and the bush is still very dry. You can see not even a little bit of water is here by this vegetation. So, but somewhere nearby, I'm sure they got some good rains yesterday. So here I've got one of the evidence that the elephants has been here. This is not fresh and this is very, very old. So, but if you can look here on this dead tree, you will see that there is this bark. So this bark is the only thing I can consider in order to identify the species which has been affected by this elephant. So by looking at this bark, I can see that this is the bark from the silver cluster leaf. So the silver cluster leaf is one of those trees you can come and chew the bark in order to relieve the diabetes. When you've got a problem with diabetes and when the blood pressure is very high, this is what you can come and eat in order to lower the blood pressure. So you can just eat the inner parts. It has got a very nice and thin inner bark. It's just that now it's dry, you cannot see it nicely. This is the plant. You can use the leaves in order to relieve the toothache pain. So the elephants, when they're coming here to eat this, are the elephant destructive? Or when elephants are pushing down the trees is how they survive. So the elephants, they can be, yes, destructive. That is depending on the interpretation of someone who is seeing what is happening. But normally, elephants, for their survival, they have got to push down the trees every day. That is how they survive. It's just that when there is no balance between the number of elephants in the area and the vegetation available, is when you will start to see you will start to notice that too much trees are now taken down because of these elephants. Oh yes, here's some leaves here for that. This is the leaves from the silver cluster leaf. You can see that reason why this is called a silver cluster leaf is because of the leaf arrangement. So the leaf arrangement is clustered. That is where this silver cluster leaf is coming from. Let me just try to sniff these leaves. The leaves, it doesn't smell like anything, but the flowers of this plant smells like dirty socks. And that distinctive smell, it is there for a purpose. These trees, they do protect themselves against some of the insects who eat the flowers. So they make sure that the flower has got a very strong discouraging smell in order to discourage the insects from coming to eat their flowers. Oh, there's a very nice plant here. I can see it's only recovering now. This is the poison apple. They also call it a coat apple. This plant, it bears the fruits which will be green and it can turn yellow. So if you take those fruits, animals, yes, some of the animals such as steenbokkies, I've seen them before eating these leaves. Then the leaves, sometimes you'll see them with the thorns, but when they're fresh like this, is when the thorns are not developed yet. You will see them with the kind of small thorns, hook thorns. So you can come and take the fruit from this tree and just burn it with the tissue. You just have to get the fruit, you open it and you burn the tissue, and when you're burning that tissue, you must burn the fruit and you open your mouth. This is going to relieve you from, if you've got the worm which is decomposing your teeth. If you do that and open your mouth and inhale the smoke from that fruit and that tissue, I can promise you that is going to help you. You can even use coals in order to do that. You just use coals and you put that fruit there, you open the mouth and inhale. So now let's cross over to the Masai Mara, where Steve is having a lovely sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very misty and wet Mara. The skies have at least cleared, but the rain did not abate until sometime in the night. We woke to a beautiful, beautiful morning, but with puddles everywhere. You can see everything is inundated at the bottom. It's a beautiful morning nonetheless. The mist sinking down low into the river drainage system. Good morning. I hope you are all well this morning. I am out this morning with Manu, and of course my name is Steve, and we are going to go towards the marsh. Manu has not yet seen the bat-eared foxes, so we're going to go see if the rain we had last night affected their den, because burrowing animals that live in holes, they generally have quite a problem after lots and lots of rain, because the clay soil just holds so much moisture. So we're going to go have a look there, see if the guys are alright, because they might move. Hopefully not. They're right next to the road. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Please feel free to send your questions and comments, #SafariLive, or drop them on the YouTube chat stream. Use the all-important @FC. We'd love to hear from you. Jump on board the beautiful Mara excursion this morning as we just come down the mountain. We had some technical issues, unfortunately, but don't worry. We are out, and so is Mr. David Gigi Gitu, and he is at the bottom of the hill. I think he would like to show you an even nicer sunrise.
A very good morning. Yes, and Steve says we had some major technical glitches or hitches this morning, which have been solved by our wonderful technical team. We got engineers who work around the clock. But unlike Steve was showing you some sunrise, I'm showing you a cloud of mist from the eastern horizon. We had big storms last night, and this is exactly what we expected this morning as we start our drive. So I'm trying to imagine all the lions or the animals could be anywhere under that mist or under those bushes. We had the Ololo Pride last night still eating in the rain. They had a zebra kill. And I think my plans today is to go look for the sausages. Lima, very good. Those colors are wonderful. And stay tuned, Lima. Don't go very far. We're going to be showing you more of those. My name is David, and this morning I am filming with Bungay. Bungay, bonjour, monsieur, ça va? Very good. And I'm thinking, Lima, apart from showing you those wonderful clouds of mist, I'll be heading to the sausages. Sausages is a pride of lions, quite a distance from here. But we have been having one female that all of us want to know what is her position in terms of bringing down her cubs. Alrighty, we're going to move. Remember, this is a very interactive safari. Should you have any questions, any comments, please send them over using hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Okay, that should be more like it for the housekeeping today. I'm sure Steve and Sydney have said most of it. Prehistory said this is your favorite shuka that you wear, and there are three ethnic groups of people in Kenya. We have the Nilotics, Kushites, and the Bantus. The shukas are worn by a particular group that is called the Nilotics, and there's a particular tribe called the Maasais. My great-grandfather was a Maasai, and from that lineage we have grown wearing these shukas. I'm happy that you love it, and should you make your way to Kenya one day, I promise you I'll get you one like this. Bungay, do you think that's a good offer for our viewer? Yes, Bungay says yes. Bungay says I'll give you one, and Bungay will give you another one, so you'll have two. Thank you, Bungay. Good boy. Very nice, very nice. And it doesn't just happen when, you know, in Africa, we do things in doubles. You ask for one, you get two. Alrighty. Now again, as I said, my destination today is the sausages, but towards there, I could bump into anything. I can see some elephants from a distance. We'll be getting to them. Animals that don't get affected so much by the rain, for me, are the elephants. We might have very big rains, and you'll not see the elephants trying to sneak or going looking for shelters because it's raining. But cats and most so say lions and cheetahs and leopards may not like the rain very much because of the amount of fur they got in their bodies. And the rain gets caught, you know, or the drops of rain gets caught in their fur, which is not very good for them. But I would say elephants, rhinos can very easily cope with even very heavy rains. And elephants will not even stop eating regardless of the rain. Not getting to a big road here that I would call like M25. Stay there left and right. And my elephants are not very far from me. I'm counting about 45 seconds. I can see a herd of elephants. And after the rain, because of the gray they have on their body, the soil around here, they change and they look rather dark. So you'll be seeing rather different elephants for those of you who have been following us and watching us. And they look all dark. You might think they are different elephants, but actually they are not. It's because all the sun, all the mud, all the soil they had on their bodies has been washed away. It's like when they go mud wallowing, when they come out, they look very different animals. Bungay, would you want me to keep going or stop there? So Bungay tells me to give you a very good angle so that you can also have the sun in the background. When it comes to camera work, Bungay is so good. Please let me know when to start, Bungay. Keep going a bit. Is that good? All right. Bungay says this is the best place to stop. And if you look at these elephants, they look totally different from the normal elephants we've been seeing here in the Mara Triangle. Of course, they are the same species, but all the soil on their bodies was washed out last evening, and even almost the whole night we had some showers, rains continued. And how beautiful is that? And that's a herd, definitely that is one cow with her calf at the back. It is so peaceful here that you can pick a needle just falling in the grass. Just 2 seconds. Bungay, let me just relocate or reposition myself to avoid one carrot behind me. Just 2 seconds. Michelle, great comment that this is truly amazing. Keep going. Thank you so much, Michelle, that you said this is truly amazing. And I'm going to give you back the same view, Michelle, and all the other wonderful viewers, and having the sunrise in the background. And always a pleasure to hear your name, Michelle. Now, the rains, what might have done, definitely they have softened the grass. And above all, the grass will have a lot of dew, so we might see most of the animals drinking less, because as they eat the grass is full of dew and drops of rain from last night. And look at the mist in the background there. It just makes it like a movie set. I hope, Michelle, you'll agree with me and all the other wonderful viewers we got this morning. Elephants eat so much, spending almost 18 hours of the day eating. So regardless of the rains last night and the wetness on the ground there, they'll still keep eating. We have an area here that we call the marsh, which is way in the background there where you see the horizon there. Tori, yes, this is pretty cool and amazing. You could not ask for anything else in such a lovely morning. The marsh area I'm talking about, I would imagine the elephants might avoid that area for the next couple of, I would say, days, because of the wetness of already where they are. And those are the fellows who are trying to distract me, and that's my brother Steve, who thinks I'm saying a lot of nonsense this morning because he did not sleep well. He was so afraid of the rain last night, and he thought his tent was falling apart. Very good. We're going to stay or move on to our sausages, but they're very good news from Pat in South Africa.
Good news indeed. We are here this morning again with the little chief Hosanna. I am Patrick. Joining me on camera again today is the guest star James. And this is SafariLive. If you have any questions or any comments, please send them in using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or the YouTube trap stream. Now we have a little bit of a scene here right now. We've got the little chief sleeping, but panning over to our right, we have a little impala lamb. It's a cutie, but I think we've got a bit of a sad story on our hands. So about 50 metres back from where we are right now, we did locate a kill that Hosanna made last night, which was an adult impala sitting up in the tree, which we believe is this lamb's mother. Now, we can't show you the kill right now, but it is not in a good state. I can tell you that much. It's definitely dead. And this one just doesn't really seem like it knows what to do now without its mother. It's very unfortunate, but that is nature. It's how it works. It's very strange though to see that it hasn't gotten up and moved away from Hosanna. Perhaps it's just simply too young to not understand danger. The poor little thing is looking very confused. Now it is impala season, so to speak, here at the moment. We do have all of the new babies being born at the moment. So this one would have probably been one of the first of the year. We have seen a few around, so there are some starting to be born, but this one would be one of the first, and very unlucky in this circumstance. Without a mother to suckle from, this one is going to struggle. Might be like Hosanna though. Might make it against all of the odds. Yes, it does look very sad. I'm not sure whether it's actually going to move from this spot or not. Perhaps Hosanna or another leopard or some lions might come along. But at this state, it's very vulnerable. Isn't Hosanna peaceful right now? Must have had some of the kill last night. Looking a little bit full. But all in all, he is a very in-condition cat as well. Looks very healthy. No signs of disease. Well built. Big and strong. Definitely could be the next dominant cat here at Juma. But that all depends on whether Hukamori decides to come through or not. Well, we're going to stay with the little chief for just a few moments longer. While we are doing that, let's go across to the Mara, where my good friend Steve has found himself some foxes.
Finding the little chief with his breakfast. Well, apparently there was messages going around that the dam cam recorded Hosanna coming out of nowhere and smashing a yearling impala or so. That was caught live on the dam cam, as it is all the time. Hosanna, the dam cam maestro. I'm sure he does it for a reason. He knows his fame and fortune are following just in time for the rising of the sun here in the Mara Triangle, where it is a very nice 16 degrees Celsius, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. A good moment to reflect on one's day, or one's morning, one's evening, wherever you might be in the world. As always, we are blessed to bring you these scenes. Coming to you live from the Mara Triangle, where it is currently 23 minutes past 6. It's interesting to note that the sun is constantly rising at a very similar time. Down in Juma, the transition is so dramatic. Kristen and gorgeous indeed. We are. Why not? Let's stop and watch the sunrise. It's an important part of the day. As the sun comes out after last night's rainfall to assist in the necessary photosynthesis of all the plants. We'll use the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, use the water, transferring it all, using it, the sun's energy, transferring it all into usable sugars for the plant and a byproduct, giving off oxygen, the creation of all life. Seemingly a very simple process. If we could only harness that from an energy point of view, well, we'd be giving off green energy, creating oxygen, at the same time providing for all the necessary technologies that we have these days. Beautiful, Manu. What wonderful scenes we have. So, as David said, peaceful. You wouldn't understand or comprehend that there was tragedy in the night with the lions killing the zebra. Who knows what's happened out here in the marsh with the hyena and lions marauding through the plains. The poor animals that have been trying to hide away from the wet have been tormented as well from predators from every side. We'll find the remnants of herds shaken, obviously happy with the coming of the dawn to dry their fur. They don't have the benefit of canvas roofs and tents, doors and all sorts of things to protect them from the elements. To survive out here, you need to be tough. How many of you have spent a night out in the rain without any shelter? Makes you a much stronger person. Beautiful. Well, we're going to continue on through the marsh area and see what we can find. There's a good chance that we'll find all sorts of things moving through, but because it's quite muddy, the ground, a lot of the animals might have moved out, but that's something we're going to investigate. But anyway, I'm sure Sydney, who's walking on foot, is not experiencing the mud like we are. Let's go and see what his plans are.
Here on the ground, I can only see a little bit of evidence showing that it rained last night. You can see that the drops did not even cover the road, so there's quite a lot of spaces. It was just a little bit of rain. So I have got something here that I found on the ground just now, and by looking at this, I can see that this has been the hornbill, the yellow-billed hornbill. So this is one of the feathers. So if you look at this feather nicely, you'll see that it's well maintained and it's nice and clean. These kind of animals, some of them, their feathers, when they come out of water, they get wet. And some of them, like this one, is maintained by kind of a substance which is called the uropygeal gland. So it's a preening gland. It stays at the back here by the bed. You will see here at the back when the bed is looking behind, they look back and they take it with their beak and then they put it on these feathers. It's like kind of an oily substance, and that oily substance is what brings waterproof to these feathers. So that is why these animals, such as the hornbills, sometimes you will see them when it's raining, they don't really get wet, like what you see to some of the water birds, such as the darters, African darters. When they come out of water, you will see them doing like this. Every time they do like this and expose themselves to the sun when they are trying to dry themselves. Kemi, that is quite a very, very, very interesting question. How do the tree get water under the ground because it's too dry? These trees, they are not surviving from the water from this season. The trees are surviving from the nutrients which has been stored during the previous rainy season. This is how it works. The trees, they manufacture quite a lot of food, carbohydrates, through a process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process which is taking place by these leaves. It's a process which is taking place by the leaves with the requirements such as the sunlight, and you have got water and carbon dioxide. So water, carbon dioxide, and the sunlight, those are the important factors to facilitate the photosynthesis process. Trees, we call them autotrophs. Autotrophs is a word which means the trees can be able to make food for themselves. Animals, all these animals, they are termed heterotrophs because they cannot make their own food. They have to rely on trees which can be able to make their own food. So these trees, they make this food and hide the food under the ground by the roots. The stem serve as a storage organ, and the roots also serve as a storage organ. Then they are very proactive. They save the food under the ground so that when the dry season comes, they will cut all these leaves. When they are dropping off the leaves, they are minimizing the demand of nutrients. And when that demand is minimized, is when now they are going to do what is called dormancy. Dormancy is a stage where the vegetation sleeps. When the vegetation is sleeping, it means all the processes within this vegetation is going slow and it doesn't require a lot of nutrients. And that is how these trees are surviving. Now is when they are going to, when it's raining, they will come back again now from eating the food of the previous season. They will come back and bring the new leaves. That is how it works. So now, let's quickly go to Hosanna, who is not very far away from where we are.
Well, Hosanna does a lot of great things: hunting, hoisting, stalking. But right now he's doing what I think he does best, and that is sleeping. Now, before we left you, we did have a bit of a tense situation on our hands. We have an impala lamb who's, we're pretty sure, whose mother was killed by Hosanna last night and has since been hoisted up into a jackalberry tree behind us. Now, we think if the impala lamb does get up and start moving, that is going to be an easy kill for Hosanna. It did get up before, and the poor thing looked so small and so skinny, but then pretty much immediately sat back down. Hosanna didn't take any notice, so we're still not sure what might unfold here. So the kill was hoisted, which is a great adaptation from leopards. They will grab the prey, and using very strong shoulder muscles and those big claws, they will get up a tree and hoist their prey up there. Now, Michael, Hosanna hasn't noticed the impala lamb yet, so I believe that's why he hasn't gone for it. It's sitting there very quietly. As I said, it did move a slight bit, but not enough to create anything enough for Hosanna to look at. So we've got a great example here of just how energy flows through the food web, or the trophic system. So we've got an impala that has been killed by a leopard. And what's happening here is the impalas are herbivores, so they get a lot of energy from the grass. So they're turning that grass energy into energy available to higher carnivores. Then when they're eaten by the carnivores, that energy is transferred from the grass to the herbivore to the carnivore. Now, it's actually a pretty inefficient method of energy transfer. I think by the time it reaches the big cats, there's only about 10% of the original energy that was contained in the grass to start with. So that's why you'll get carnivores trying to make big kills and get as much meat as possible. Now, Hosanna, in this situation, didn't really seem to take much meat from the kill. If we have a look at the carcass, which we might go back and have a look at soon, we were seeing that there was not much meat taken from the kill, as well as the fact that Hosanna doesn't look very full and is breathing at a very slow rate. So quite often, after we see animals such as leopards making kills, you'll start to see their belly go up and down, up and down, up and down. And that is because they're busy metabolizing all the food, and so it requires more energy and therefore more breath. It also is a factor of the heat. You will see in hot weather they breathe a lot quicker. But we've actually had a pretty cool morning here at Juma this morning. It's jumper weather, which has been the first time I've had to wear one since being back from the Mara about a week ago. So it is actually a bit nice, a bit refreshing to have this cooler weather today. And it looks like Hosanna is enjoying it too. Now this impala leopard situation is still kind of unfolding. We are going to stake out this area and keep watching on to see if Hosanna does notice the little lamb and what happens from there. But while we are waiting, let's go across to David in the Mara.
Well, I think Sydney is happy to see the impala lambs there. And unlike in Juma, we don't have a particular season, I would say, for the breeding of the impalas, and we'll have the lambs all around the year. And the same case would happen to the zebras. And these are the bachelor zebras. And with all the rains last night, I want to believe lots of fresh grass will be shooting up. Always going in small herds sometimes. You might get one male with 2 or 3 wives and youngsters. That's the social structure of zebras. And I'm trying to imagine that's what is exactly happening there. About 5 of them. So there's a stallion and maybe 2 or 3 mares and a youngster or 2 heading towards the Olololo escarpment. Occasionally, if it gets very wet on the ground where they are, they'll want to look for much drier ground. The rains last night were a bit heavy, and many ungulates, I'm talking of animals that have or that are hooved, sometimes they suffer from foot rot, and they don't want to be in wet ground for a very long time. So destination could be that escarpment that you see in the background. That is called the Olololo escarpment. Olololo. And it's one wall that forms the Mara triangle, or one boundary of where we are. Well, it seems to be going away, and we might also be going away. What do you think, Bungay? Do you want us to keep moving? Go get our sausages? Bungay says yes. I should be doing more of moving than talking, so that we can get to the Sausage Republic. Okay, I'm very excited to know what will happen to this one particular female of the sausage pride. All right, you can see. All right. So it's a bit tricky there because of the mud. When it rains here, the mud gets very sticky. And I think Steve might be having some different tall animal.
Thanks, David. Good luck finding the sausages. We have got a very drooly giraffe here. If there wasn't enough moisture around, well, there certainly is now, with the giraffe oozing saliva. Well, the giraffe will be very happy with the moisture on the leaves and on the plants, because it means that they can get a lot of the necessary liquids that they need for the day. Another one coming up at the back there, Manu, if that's a nicer view, perhaps. The giraffe feed on the leaves to get moisture, and with the leaves being covered in moisture at the moment, it saves them a lot of effort having to go all the way down to the river to drink. Because with ruminants require enormous amounts of saliva, which are loaded with bacteria and microorganisms, which the purpose of the rumination and the chewing the cud is to cover and completely surround the small, well-chewed plant particles with microorganisms that are derived from the saliva themselves. And those go into the tummy. Very nice male with a bit of a knob on his head. And they go into the belly, where the breakdown in the rumen happens, And then in the second chamber of the stomach, the absorption of a lot of the moisture, as well as the saliva and the breakdown of the microorganisms, which are essentially a protein base, are reabsorbed back into the body, and so is a lot of the moisture in the form of the saliva. Giraffe having quite a well adapted kidneys. They give off a very, very highly concentrated stream of urine when they urinate. It's got it looks like they've drunk an enormous amount of vitamin C when they do urinate to save a lot of the moisture. Dory, I suppose being drooled on a giraffe is probably not the worst thing in the world. Imagine being drooled on by waffles. I suppose a giraffe drool, I know lots of people feed giraffe and things. There's lots of these petting zoos that people will go and feed giraffe, and they do drool on you, but I don't think their drool is as bad as other animals that we could imagine. Can you imagine waffles or a hyena drooling on you? That would not be the most ideal. So we were talking yesterday about the browse height of the tree. Look at that male, how he's able to stick his head all the way back, and with his very long 50-centimeter long tongue, stick it all the way out of his mouth as far as he possibly can to grab at the leaves. So the tree's all very well browsed to a certain height here in the Mara due to the enormous amount of giraffe that we have moving through. He enjoyed that, but it's a little bit too tall for him. There we go, he's going to try again. Oh, he's having a look. Hello, Snazzy. You want to know if giraffe have teeth? Of course they have teeth. They've got a very sort of angular teeth. Lots of molars, should I say. And the difference between giraffe teeth and grazer's teeth is that grazers have got pretty flat teeth for sort of just crushing the grasses, whereas giraffe have got very sort of diamond-edged teeth, which are used for macerating or chopping up, masticating, should I say, chopping up the plant parts to very small degrees, so they fall into the tummy at a very, very well broken up level. And how they look after them, there's no real way. They look after them. They just have them. I mean, giraffes live for about 28 years plus minus, and by the time they die, well, their teeth have done the purpose. Most of us generally have pretty good teeth up until our late 20s, early 30s, and then, well, things start going a little bit south. We eat all sorts of things. They just feed on leaves, and the leaves, well, don't have the same particles that grasses have. Grasses have got silica in them, and silica is actually a tooth-wearing agent. It's found in grass as one of the defense mechanisms, and we actually put silica in our toothpaste as an abrasion agent to wear down the teeth. So browsers don't have the same sort of difficulties with feeding on leaves as grazers do on grasses, but they do have to contend with the tannins and often the alkaloids that you find in the leaves themselves as a defense mechanism from being eaten. Okay, well, we have got a very misty Mara morning, and well, it seems all the way down in South Africa, Sydney is walking with a cloudy sky.
It is a cloudy bush walk at the moment here where I am, and the wind is now starting to blow too much in this direction where we are. Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to get to the area where Hosana is having a kill. So we then decided to go much more further towards the southern side of the game reserve, seeing if we can find Hukumuri in the area. So we're just trying to check some tracks here with Herbert. Maybe we might be lucky and find something. Caroline, my microphone is broken, so I'm going to have to look for a very nice special one again. So I will find one anytime soon. I'm just trying to check here. I can see that there is some white droppings there, and There's even some hairs I can see here by the corner. Sometimes you will see some of the beetles. You will see the skin beetles here. So the skin beetles, normally they come to the carcass, and you also see them on these kind of droppings. They drill and hide in there. Sometimes you will see these skin beetles with a lot of soil on them in order to just camouflage with the ground. So this is a scut. A scut is a dropping for a cat and a dog. If you come here, always avoid inhalation of the dust from the scut. If you inhale the dust, you are going to ingest a lot of bacteria, which is going to give you the zoonotic diseases. Zoonotic diseases has got something to do with the diseases which can be transmitted from animals to human beings. So here, you must have to be very careful. Wanting to talk about the scut, avoid contact with the scut with the bare hands, and also avoid inhalation of the dust. Sharon, since the beginning of this guided walk, I have seen three fainted tracks. So the tracks fainted because of the drizzle of rain last night. So when I'm checking here, I can see snakes, they are very much active. And when I'm doing game driving during the day is when I see quite a lot of fresh tracks. So the snakes are back. It's just that snakes are so very much shy, but they're back. I haven't seen any yet at the moment. But tracks I've seen a lot. I have only seen one snake since I have arrived here, which was the Mozambican spitting cobra one day. So now let's cross over to Pat, who is still having the kill for Osana.
A very gruesome breakfast indeed. So we have moved back to the jackalberry tree, and we have what is Hosanna's breakfast, maybe a little bit of his dinner last night, and also a maybe lunch or dinner time snack tonight as well. So it did get hoisted up last night. We heard this impala got killed, and it looks like we have that big red structure coming out of it, which is a part of its stomach. I guess it's rumen. Probably it's still filled with a lot of undigested grass. So it's a pretty gruesome sight, but as I said, that is nature. We have our resident vegan, Lauren, in the car with us, and she's looking very displeased at the sight of this right now. But it's also just really highlights how strong these cats are. It is gross, everybody watching along. I hear you're all commenting on it. I'm not really finding this very aesthetically pleasing myself. But the strength of cats is unreal. So this is a female impala lamb. I mean, female impala, not a female impala lamb. And they can reach sometimes up to 60 kilos, a big one. I wouldn't say this one's fully grown, although it's a bit hard to tell now. But, you know, that's a solid 40, 50 kilos. So 120 to 150 pounds that it has brought all the way up. If we have a look from the bottom of this tree, if we can get that, James, yeah, all the way up here. So can you imagine trying to climb this tree with 40 to 50 kilograms of animal in your mouth? Really does show why leopards are such bulk towards their front, around their shoulders. Really facilitates that heavy lift. A solid day at the gym, if you ask me. Well, let's move forward a little bit and check back up on the little chief, and it's, well, not his lamb, could be his lamb, but this impala lamb up here. Don't forget, if you do have any questions or comments, please use that hashtag SafariLive or on the YouTube Twitter stream. Sorry, I just had a bit of an issue with comms there. Can I get that repeated? Cheeky mongoose. Or potentially, there is a bit of build-up there. We can see that it was very large and very inflated. Perhaps a fell swipe from Hosanna's claws might break it open and let out all the gas and liquid built up inside. I'm not sure if it was burst by its own though. It's pretty thick, muscular skin there. But either way, I would not want to be around when that happens at all. I'm sure it's going to smell and look very unpleasant. Yet, Hosanna would probably not mind at all. Well, let's leave these antelope and go over to the Mara, where David looks like he's found himself some wildebeest.
We have gotten into bigger mist than before, and you can see the wildebeest in the mist. I do not know how many of you might have seen the movie Gorillas in the Mist or Gorilla in the Mist. Now we got wildebeest in the mist, and there they are. Just 1 second, I talk to my friends here. Very good, they're gone, the game rangers just doing the normal patrol. And just look at that. Yes, and the final control says this is very dramatic as they're just filtering out of the mist, and what they want to do, they want to come in a more open area with better light, because they know the dangers of being in the darkness, or rather in the mist, where they cannot see very well. So they need just to pull out, come in a more open area where the sun is trying to push its light. They know the predators might take advantage of the mist and go for them. This is a burnt area. We had some fires here a few months ago, and with the rains now coming, we'll be seeing lots of fresh shoots of grass coming up, which is very favorite with these wildebeest. And looking at them, I see them just going in the different direction, and they're heading towards more of the Kenyan side than the Tanzania side. I doubt they'll be going back to Tanzania. Jeremiah, great comment. Lots of moisture, yes, and if you look carefully, there's a lot of mist. And this is the result of the rains we had last night. And the rains we got now are what we call the short rains. In Kenya, we have two seasons or two windows of rain, the long rains and the short rains. And the short rains have come rather late. And I'll not be surprised if we have rains every other day from today. Very good camera work there, Bungay. And you can see all the wildebeest going or moving in a single file. And this is what we call the migration, which is quite a spectacle in the Mara Triangle. We'll always see them in their thousands moving from one place to another. And the mist gets thicker. And the directions they are all going, there seems to be more light. Very good. In the final control reminds me I have not done one with tweet for a very long time. So to all of you viewers, I would request you to tweet one word, just one word, and tell me what do you think of this using hashtag SafariLive, hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Just give me one word of what you think, the sighting we got. And this reminds me again, as I said, of the Gorillas in the Mist, done by Jane Godwell. It was a great movie, and maybe me and Bungay might be having our own small movie this morning, and I'm asking all of you to send one word. Either saying amazing, wonderful, epic. I'm not giving you more words, but just one word of what to think we got here this morning in the Mara Triangle. But we got wildebeest in the mist. Look at that. That's exactly how it looks, and that's the destination I'm going. Nita, mystifying. Thank you very much. And I would say that's like Queen's English. Mystifying sounds like a great word. That's very good to hear. Mystifying. And I'll be waiting for more of your words to come, and keep sending tweets in one word. Mystifying, Nita. Fantastic. Please send more. As you find out, Bungay want to turn the camera on the other side and see what he has. What do you think, Bungay? You want to turn the other way? You want me back up a little bit? How does it look there? Do you stay here? Sorry, what does Chitty Chat Make say? Chitty Chat Make says, yes, it definitely is, and we got them now running. Let me just see if there's anybody behind me. There's nobody behind me. But I'm trying to see how is that angle there, Bungay. And look at them now on the run. Please, yeah, keep sending your tweets in one word, because this is one of the most exciting sighting I've had for a long time. And again, as I say, wildebeest in the mist. One word. Tweet on what you think we have on the screen for you. So as much as they're trying to grab as much grass as they can on the ground there, but the whole idea is to get out of the mist as quickly as they can, not to get the sausages grabbing one of them, because I'm very close now to the Republic, or to the Sausage Republic. Carolina, you say mysterious. I love that. Mysterious. Bungay, do you love that? Bungay says that is awesome. Mysterious. Excellent. Please keep sending your tweets, and it will make our day. And we're going to write all these tweets, and we'll take them home and maybe put them on the boat somewhere in the final control, and we'll remember this morning for a long time. So keep moving, and please, all of you wildebeest, be very careful of the sausages. But in the meantime, Steve got a feathered friend.
Thanks, David. Indeed, a very misty morning, but a wonderful misty morning indeed. We have found some birds that are absolutely loving the moisture. Oh, that was a yellow-throated longclaw, and the other one, I think, was a lark. I'm not 100% sure. It was an LBJ, a little brown job, and there is a cape, or a ring-necked dove, a turtle dove, enjoying some seeds on the ground. The birds really do enjoy the moisture. They get a nice little bath. After a little bit of a downpour yesterday outside my tent, I had what looked like a chagra of sorts. It was moving through the branches of a tree and actually washing itself against the leaves. Quite often birds will actually, after a downpour, actually go and wet themselves from the leaves themselves, and also drink from those leaves, just the same as the giraffe would do, to alleviate the need to go very far to drink. And doves, being seed eaters, need to drink water. And that bird in the foreground, it's hard to say what it is, jumping around. We've decided to come to the bat-eared fox den to see if anyone's at home, and, well, they're all hiding. MG, and Dove is a nice name. Dove is a very nice name. And there's a soap in South Africa, which apparently is a very nice, delicate soap for the ladies. Dove soap. I can see the appeal. But, well, we're at the den site of the bat-eared foxes. There's some impala in the background that are enjoying the moisture as well. There's mixed feeders enjoying drinking the water. A sooty cat in the bottom of the screen. Most cats like to walk around the ground and feed on insects. And after the rain, the rain washes away the old and everything is fresh and revitalized. And no doubt after this rainfall we'll probably get a little bit of a bloom of more insects and alates, which will benefit these bat-eared fox family. That's why they breed this time of year. The rainy seasons bring on the onset of insect emergence. And it's really interesting with, oh, there's a jackal over there. Sorry about the break up there, folks. A little bit further back at 1 o'clock, a little bit more in the long grass there. There's something moving. Hang on, to the right of that mound. Just slightly more to the right, sorry Manu. Something quite small moving. I thought it was a jackal. There we go. There it is. We've spotted him. Black-backed jackal on the move. Sorry folks about any breakup issues we had there, but we've spotted the jackal. Hopefully the bat-eared foxes will move out. I've got my eyes well trained to the landscape for any movement. Can you hear the parrots? Just flown over our head. I believe they are brown-headed parrots.
It's very much difficult this morning in order to find the insects here. I have been looking and I'm looking everywhere. Insects are very much discouraged by this kind of weather today. So I'm just seeing quite a lot of markings showing that the big animals has been here. This one has been the rhino. I can see that here on the ground there is some markings. This was just the rhino trying to scratch to mark. And apologies for all the inconveniences due to the network failure. We are now back fully in action. So this side here where we are, compared to that other side, the eastern side where we come from, this side is still very much dry. It is clear that in the game reserve here, different areas is receiving different amount of rainfalls. Here is dry. You can see that the vegetation is not even showing any sign of recovery. But where we come from is getting green. So here, the animals, they are forced to move to go to where we come from. It means now the density of animals will be on that other side, right where we come from. So this is going to attract as well Hosanna to remain in that area for quite a while, as well as Tingana, because the animals, they are now leaving this area in order to drink there and in order to access the greener pasture which is now coming back. Zach, it's not easy because the little bit of rain we had last night is now dissolving and rubbing the tracks completely. So it's good if it rained a lot, but if it rains just a little bit, the problem is those drizzles are just going to faint all the tracks, which becomes very difficult to track. But if it rained too much as well, it's not nice because the ground holds quite a lot of moisture and the old tracks all looks fresh. So where we are here, I can see there's quite a lot of the competition when it comes to the territoriality. You can see these black patches here on the ground. All these black patches has been left behind by the impalas here where we are. So it's how the impala is demarcating. So if you can check the amount of black patches here, you can see that this area at the end is going to get fertilized and it will bring back the nutritious grass. You can even see the uric acid burning some of the grasses as well. Oh, this is skull here. This is something nice. Look at that. So who can tell me, from what animal is this? So you can see this animal has got a very nice mouth structure. This is from the mouth. So I'm just now trying to check and assess from what animal. Oh, I think I know the animal now, but anyway, I will wait for one of the viewers in order to try his or her luck. So these animals, if you look at the arrangement of the teeth, you can see that these animals don't use. Congratulations to Paula. Indeed, this is a warthog. You see this, you will see this kind of tusk on the warthogs coming out there. And then you will see the top part and the bottom part. So now, let's cross over to Pat, who is still having Hosanna.
Welcome back to Juma, where we are sitting with the little chief Hosanna and the impala lamb, whose mother we believe Hosanna killed last night. The lamb has not moved from its position, and it's getting to the point now where, in my personal opinion, I kind of hope that it does get taken by something, because I think it's at this put it out of its misery kind of stage right now. It's motherless, defenseless. It's not going to be able to get food for itself. Its chances of survival are extremely thin. But it is still clinging on right now, and Hosanna doesn't seem to have noticed it. No, Lima, the impala's other impala mothers will not nurse this calf. It will be left on its own, unfortunately. We do see that in some species, such as the lion, where a cub can suckle at another mother, but not with the impala.
In front of the window.
I just saw that. I want that little one to
Little brand. I want to open the round.
We do apologise for those technical glitches, but the important thing is that we are back live. Now, before we did get a glitch, I was speaking of Hosanna and a church hymn, but Hosanna does mean little chief, and there is another song that reminds me of too. The great man Xavier Rudd, an Australian musician, has a song called Little Chief. So every time I see Hosanna, that song is playing in my head. Maybe it can be his theme song. We'll see. So, we really aren't getting much action out of Hosanna this morning. We are saying it is really surprising to not be seeing any action right now. He has a kill in the tree that he could be feeding on. He has a lamb right in front of him sitting there for the taking. But right now, I think I got that name, Tola or Cola. That lamb would not be very old at all. So I did mention earlier that it is the birthing season right now, so around these kind of 1 to 2 weeks towards the end of November, coming into the rainy season. So I wouldn't think that this lamb would be any older than a week, if that. So very young, very new to the world. And being a mammal, it does learn a lot of its behaviours from its parents, and without parents there to show it, it's not going to be able to learn them. We have had a little bit more activity out of the lamb now. It's kind of starting to move its head around a bit. We can see there, it's got its ears up, and it is alert. But I think if it moves, starts making any sort of noise, it's going to be Hosanna's dinner. Hosanna is now, well, it's hard to tell. We can see its head is facing in the direction of the lamb. Its eyes open, I can't actually see right now. But we'll still stick around and have a look. In the meantime, let's go back over to the Mara with the Vov, who is driving around right now.
Welcome back, and indeed, as Pat says, if that little youngster does move, she will be snacked up. Something impalas are quite good at doing is standing very still for quite some time, but shame, poor thing. Because after being born, which is quite interesting, for a few days, maybe even a week, impala lambs have got no scent. They don't smell of anything, which makes it difficult for predators to find them if they are hiding in the long grass. That's a very interesting sort of thing. They don't smell of anything. How is that possible? I don't know. But moms will often lick their bottoms and keep them very clean, and somehow they don't give off any scent. But anyway, we've moved away from our bat-eared fox den. No one's materialized. We don't know. Maybe they got just a bit wet and now they all just... Maybe they've moved. I hope they have moved. Oh, anyway, maybe they'll come out at some point. I think they're in a good spot. There's no real drainage culvert pushing any moisture in there, so it just would have been moisture from the rain itself. Wouldn't really got too flooded or inundated with water. But anyway, we moved back into the marsh. We're going to head towards kind of where we saw that pride doing some stalking yesterday, unsuccessfully, because they stalked into the thickets and then that was it, disappeared on us. Very elusive, the marsh breakaways, we believe. But we've been, while we were waiting for you to come back to us there, we had obviously had you on the tech loop, but lots of birds. Had a red-capped lark, we had the long, yellow-throated long claw vulture landing in there, Manu. Did you see it? Landed right in the middle. I wonder if we can spot it. We had some vultures and a hyena walking out of here the other day with a really large bone. Oh, it's in the thicket. It's very hard to see. I just saw a vulture descend there. But sadly, we can't make anything out. And Hammerkop. Oh, there's taking off, do you see? Were there Hammerkops? Okay, Manu seems to think Hammerkops. Very good. Well, Hammerkops love the rainfall. Because the rain obviously wets everything, and they'll walk around and feed on all sorts of insects as well as frogs. They love themselves a frog or two. Ideal thickets here, as we've seen over the last week or so for black rhino. They love moving between these patches, so we might have one popping its nose out. It's been a few days now. I think we were getting too many black rhino. They've decided just to calm down a little bit. Okay, well, we're going to keep searching around here, see if we can find the marsh breakaway pride. And while we do that, let's see how David Gigi is getting on in the south with his sausage true pride search.
Yeah, every time if you keep going to that same area, Steve, you'll see the black rhino. I'm not sure it's going to be the same one or different one, but that area is very good habitat for black rhinos. Now we've got a feathered friend here who is trying to hide from us, and this is an eagle, and look on the crest on her head, and we call her the long-crested eagle. Long-crested eagle. And definitely she is focusing on the ground there, and look what she is trying to do, bopping her head up and down. When they do that, chances are they might have spotted some prey. Could be some kind of rodent, could be some mouse or rat, or some reptile like a lizard or a skink or small snake. And by so doing, it gives them an idea of how far whatever it is, whatever prey they can see is, or maybe also gives them a better idea of what exactly it is. Sometimes also they're able to know the size of it. Bopping like that is also done by kingfishers. You'll see the oops, and there she flies. Very good job, Bungay. You can see the white wings as she flies, and most likely what she was watching, she has found it at that point. And then going to pick it up, be it a rat or a mouse. And then just fly back to maybe the same tree and eat it. Alright, so we're going to move on. And we need to get our sausages because we're already in the sausage republic, as I said. Alright, Bungay, let's just move on. Nice to see an eagle in the morning. Alright, this is the home of the sausages, this whole territory here. And it could be anything from here now. Bungay, keep your eyes open. Yesterday we saw Limpy with her young cub at this particular spot. Of course, they move a lot. I'm not sure that's a male there. I can see something. Oh, yes. How far is it? Let's see whether they can shoot him from here. I'm going to go close. And that is a male lion there. And I'll be trying to look for a road to get close to him. But let's first go to the gentleman who is doing trucking in South Africa.
I am right here now having one of the nest here. Looks like it was the waxbill. So this nest is right by the Ziziphus macronata, which is the buffalo thorn. So it's popular known as the buffalo thorn. So this, I want to tell you something here. When I grew up, I used to climb some of these trees, and some of these birds, they construct the nest, and they construct the nest next to where there is wasps. So the birds, they depend on the wasp for security. So if you climb up there wanting to take anything from the nest, then the wasps, they sting you. So that is the relationship between the birds and some of the insects. So, but there, I think only the birds get benefit, because the wasps, they don't get anything from those birds there. So it seems like the birds is the one who follow the wasps for security purposes. So this was done by the waxbills. I can see also the type of grasses used there. It's not a good nest, but I think it can be able to accommodate the eggs. So these birds, during the dry season, if you look at this nest, if this bird is still coming here, it's very much clear, cannot hide. Predation can be very much high now. But now that the green leaves are coming back, the tree is going to look very big and look very green. Now the birds are going to be able to hide in there. One of the reasons why birds got to leave South Africa and go to the other countries is because during the dry season, there's not much shelter and they cannot hide. That nest is close to the ground, you're right, but normally the waxbills, they build their nest very close to the ground. So it is a preferable height for those kind of birds. Waxbill is a very small bird, has got a blue color here, and they make noises such as so you can hear they are called the blue waxbills. So I'm just checking here. This is one of the grasses that people, some are using for thatch. So this is the red grass. Some of the people, they come and take this for thatch. The relationship between the wasps and the birds. We have got this, what is called, let me just broadly answer this. We have got this, what is called symbiosis. Symbiosis is a relationship involving the two completely different species. Then we have got the types of symbiosis. We have got mutualism. Mutualism, it is a relationship between two different species where both species get benefit. Then we have got commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship between two different species where one gets benefit while the other one don't get harmed. Then we have got parasitism, still as part of symbiosis, which is the relationship between two different species where one gets benefit while the other one is harmed. So a relationship where only one of these two species get benefit while the other one is not harmed is called commensalism. So the bird there, if it's only him getting benefit and wasps don't get, it means the relationship is commensalism. So now let's cross over to the male lions in the Masai Mara. Sipati kitu. Well, I've just come to a different position when I saw this male from the big road, and this is one of the males in the coalition of the sausages
very snoozy, sleepy, struggling to open his eyes. Good morning, sir. How do you sleep when your head is still up, eh? Look at those beautiful yellow or gold eyes here. This one and another brother of his who is not here, and I've always followed this one with his Tony. He got a very big tear on the left ear. Very good job, Bungay. A bit of pinkish on the nose, which means most likely he is definitely less than 7 years old. Again, struggling to keep the eyes open. Just so you say, he got a very dark mane, and it's true. And if you see another male that is always part of our coalition with this one, that's called Kipuli, he even got a darker mane than this one. Female lionesses have been known, or the lionesses have been known to prefer the lions with darker mane for mating, as much as it's not always the case. They think, or the lionesses will always think, they'll get better genes, cubs, for survival. And as soon as Kipuli is out of play, he might take over. Boom. For those who have never joined us before, this is the sausage. It's a coalition of males called the sausage tree. And remember, this is a very interactive safari we do. Should you have any questions or comments like, he just went down poop, why did he do that? Please send them through using hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. He has gone flat, and I want to move because I got a feeling the females might not be very far from here. And this male, we saw him at this spot, and we saw Limpy, one of the females in the Sausage Tree Pride, who had small little cub, and she disappeared in a bush. And we want to find out whether we can catch up with her today. But I also hear Steve got lions for his own, and he's trying to compete with me.
I have indeed. Thank you, David. Good luck keeping up with Limpy Lou over there. We have got one young male lion, it seems, a herd of buffalo in the background. I can't help it, David. The lion's just there. It just materialized. And we've got some more somewhere. They're all lying in a puddle. There we go. A puddle of lions. It is lying on a bit of a termite mound, just elevated as off of the mud. I don't like it in the mud. It's very damp, and there's at least 4 there that are all nice, or 3, they're all nice and snuggled. Isn't that a beautiful picture? A puddle of lions. I wonder what they've been up to. They're not far away from where we spotted them yesterday. Haven't moved very far. They're quite far off the road, unfortunately, so it's really difficult to assess if they've had anything to eat and what it is that they've been up to in the night. I do think these are the marsh breakaways. The marsh breakaways, the Olololos, were up on the mountainside. We didn't find them this morning on our way down, but these marsh pride individuals are very close to where we saw them yesterday, where I thought that they might sneak up on a buffalo, but they didn't. They didn't do anything. They went and snuck into the bushes and hid away from us, and now they've snuck a little bit further towards Olololo sort of area. But it is not the Olololos, but I can't be 100% certain without really seeing them a little bit closer up. But due to where they are and the proximity to where we saw the marsh pride yesterday, I'm going to assume. But you know what they say about assumptions sometimes. But I think the Olololos are still somewhere on the mountain range. They're probably gone into the thicket. Lynn, lions will eat as often as they can. They can go for, some people say, as long as 2 weeks without eating. But lions will hunt opportunistically, just like leopards. They'll actually catch more than they need to. And it's all about the energy required to catch something. If something comes upon them and they're full and they're easy to catch it, they will, and then they'll probably try and eat it. I was with the Nkuhuma Pride earlier this year with Craig, and we found them eating a warthog, and then they walked off to go and drink, and well, then another warthog just materialized, and while they grabbed it, and they didn't really start eating it until the screams that the pig was making was so much that eventually it caused the pride to start eating. But it was very sad to watch. So they will eat every day if they can, but every 2 days, maybe 3 days. Prey availability obviously being the key factor, and success or experience of the pride being another. But you don't often find lions of the Mara going more than 2 days without a meal. Okay, well, I'm sure David, who is down further south than we are with the sausages, has also got something to say about how often lions eat.
Well done, Steve, and I'm sure you're trying to compete with me this morning, but I am going to beat you fair and square, because apart from the fully grown lions you saw, I have cubs, and I doubt you're going to beat this, Steve. Now, these are the sausages, or the sausage tree pride. They got 2 additions of 2 cubs. That's a very good yawn. When together, there are 5 females and a coalition of 3 males. Where we are, we got that 1 cub looking at us, and to the left there's another cub with or very close to the mama, and they're having a playtime. Socialize, bond. Hello, good morning, cubby. And how cute to see these little guys in such gorgeous light. Do you want to nurse? Safari Lava so dirty. Yes, what happened, Safari Lava? Last night we had some massive rain. Do they want to nurse? And I'm not sure the mother is willing them to nurse. And because of the rain and cubs being cubs, or do I call them teenagers as yet? They have been wallowing and playing in the mud and in the grass full of mud. Oops, look at them, how playful they are. That's so sweet. So Safari Lava, they have picked so much mud on their fur. That's why they look a bit dirty. And you notice the mother looks pretty clean and preen and, you know, like very polished with a comb. But cubs, you can just see how playful they are. They'll be just rolling in the grass and doing a lot of play. And then so much mud and soil. Are you nursing, or are you just snuggling there, the two of you? Whatever they want to do, Mama just has or takes a very nice nap. Giraffe Girl, yeah, Mom says bath time. I agree with you, Giraffe Girl, and I'm always very happy when I hear your name, but yeah, I'll hopefully get a giraffe for you before the end of the day, just to remind you of your good name. Now, if we go to the right a little bit, Bungay, you'll see the other 3 girls that form the sausage tree pride. So only one is missing, and the missing one here is the one we call Limpy. Limpy, we saw her yesterday, I think could be about 7 weeks old now. Thank you very much, Bungay. Those are the other 3 girls of the sausage tree pride. And you can tell they're just having some wonderful nap there, the 3 of them. And it's one of these, I can't tell for a fact now that it's very pregnant. And if tomorrow goes without the cubs, I do not know. Bungay, do you think it's that one? Well, Bungay thinks that one. Look at the belly of that female there. And you can tell her swollen mammary glands. And this is, yes, Bungay, I think you're right. This is the female that all of us, and more so myself, I'm hoping in maybe 24 hours we'll be having baby cubs. And yes, MM says it could be anything, and it'll be very exciting for us because After about 105 days, lionesses will drop their cubbies, and it might increase the number of cubs here. I'm so excited, and that's why like almost every day I am coming to look or follow this pride, and I want to do that until I see what happens to this mother. So one of the other females to the right there is what we call a kinktail, and kinktail has a knot on her tail, and she's the eldest lioness in this pride, about 7 years old, very experienced, and she has been able to put them together. Should they wake up and move around, we may have a chance to see the tail, but it's definitely one of those two. So what we want to do is to move forward a little bit, and we show you the other male that's on the right. Bunge, do you see the other male? That's the other boy that forms the sausage coalition. These are two brothers with the one we saw before, and they joined an older male that's called Kipuli, who we have not seen. I think this is the second week we haven't seen him, but we're just guessing he's just somewhere doing his thing. Alright, hopefully this male gonna wake up. If not, once the cubs start playing, will be back with me. But I think Lauren has something more interesting in South Africa.
The situation has remained pretty much unchanged here with Hosanna and the little Impala lamb. However, in the driver's seat we have made a small change. So my name is Lauren, Pat has moved over for now, and we've stayed here watching this situation unfold in front of us, except nothing unfolded. So over here we have Hosanna, the little chief, and we weren't 100% sure if he was aware that this Impala lamb is actually even here, but he did put his head up and have a look. So we do believe that he does know this poor little lamb is here. Now it feels very tense for me. I'm not sure what's going to happen at any moment. This cat is probably fast asleep and enjoying every minute of it. However, don't be misled. I think at any noise or any movement, this cat could spring into action. Just like my dog actually, who's snoring, and the minute the biscuit tin is open, she is alert more than she has ever been. It's very similar with Hosanna here. So the little lamb, unfortunately, is obviously lost its mother, and it's very, very, very young. Today it's really cold. We're all shivering here right now. So this little lamb will get very weak and very cold very fast. There's obviously no food or any protection from mother. So we're staying with Hosanna this now, hoping that something may change and he might get up and spring into action at any moment. Now don't forget to send in your comments and questions. Yes, I do agree with everyone, it is tense. We did think he would move by now. He hasn't really done much other than stretching. And the lamb is about, oh, okay, that's the most movement he has done all morning. He's given us a lovely view of that beautiful belly of his, which isn't as full as I've seen it in the past, to be honest. He didn't seem to eat much of the kill up the tree. I would imagine he would start to get hungry soon once he wakes up from this lovely dream that he is obviously having. Now the lamb is only about 20 meters away, approximately 60 feet, really not far. And the poor thing did try to get up earlier, but just sat back down and trying to shield herself from the wind. It's a really windy day today. Except our boy here looks lovely and warm and tucked into the grass, slightly out of the wind. Now what's remarkable for me is the complete difference between these two species in front of us. So we have the big predator, the carnivore, whose cubs are born completely dependent on the mother. They're born not quite fully developed, and we call this altricial. So they will stay hidden and protected by the mother for a long time. Whereas Impala lambs, as we move over to take a look at this little lamb, they are born really well developed, fully developed, and they can stand and start walking within hours of birth. So the gestation period is longer for impalas than it is for leopards, but it's just remarkable to me the complete difference between these two species that we have in front of us. Oh, the lamb is not settled. Lauren, that's a great question. Does the lamb stand a chance? We were actually just discussing this, and it's probably likely that it doesn't. And the sad thing was, just a few minutes ago, there was a herd of impala walk along on our left, and there was actually a herd walking along on our right. And this poor little lamb seems stuck here. So I would like to think that it does have a chance, but sadly, I don't believe it does. It's very weak and very cold. But we will probably wait this out and see what does actually happen with our little chief, who's not acting very much like a chief right now. You can see the lamb's got its legs tucked under its body, and it is listening. Are you able to repeat that for me, Emma? Didn't quite catch what you said there. So yes, it is absolutely freezing, and this poor thing must be shivering. Impalas are able to sort of keep a little bit warmer with having goosebumps. Very similar to what I have right now. But it's not relaxed. Look at it. The ears are up. It's probably listening to a little twitch. It's listening to everything that does go on around it. It hasn't actually looked much in Hosanna's direction. I'm not actually sure if it knows this big predator is. So we are going to stay with our lazy cat and see what happens. Something should happen soon, but for now, we're going to head over to the Mara to Steve.
Thank you, Lauren. Well, we have found our juvenile martial eagle once again in very much the same area as we have for the last many days. And well, that young impala would be a prime bit of food for such a bird. Heaviest recorded prey item that a martial eagle has taken is up to 8 kilograms. That's over 16 pounds. Can you imagine? And quite incredible, I think, for a bird that only weighs 4 kilograms. So they've taken prey twice their size. Loving monitor lizards. The young impala, jackal even, those bat-eared foxes we saw before, serious prey to a martial eagle. And they were able to spot prey for up to 6 kilometers before diving down into a swoop and surprising prey, using a little bit of cover as they approach, and then flopping down on it with their heavy weight and extremely powerful talons. And the larger prey that they do catch often is left on the ground where they feed on it before trying to put in a tree. And they've been known to return to the same tree 4 or 5 days in a row to remain feeding on whatever it is that they've caught. I've found them many a time with monitor lizards. I've also seen one, as I've said before, on a steenbok and a grijsbok, sharp grijsbok. I've never seen one with a young impala, but, well, they do fall prey. Beautiful youngster, and I say juvenile due to the fact that it's got that white plumage. The head will go very dark when it becomes adult, starting to get a bit darker on the wings. But for now, enjoyed the rainfall last night like most of the other birds, and is doing some necessary preening and fixing of the flight feathers to enable it to fly beautifully. Spends most of its day actually soaring in the air, using the thermals to lift its heavy weight. Only occasionally really perching. Look at those feet. Oh, a bit of a stretch. Oh, that's a lovely stretch. How wonderful. It's opening its wings up to get a bit dry from the sun, you'd think. Look at those talons. Isn't that incredible? Those talons, the purpose of talons is to sever arteries and break spinal cords, to latch onto prey. Crushing blow when they do grab something. That is generally how large raptors dispatch their prey, not with the beak. The beak is eventually used for ripping it apart, that hooked beak. Indigo girl, the white accents on the wings are beautiful, just those beautiful feathers. Beautiful bird, majestic. But this is the bird of prey that when it takes to the sky, every animal on the ground absolutely loses its mind. Terrified when they see it. Take anything, guinea fowls, storks, ibises, francolins of course. Even bustards have been known to fall prey. Bustards which are pretty much camouflaged in the ground. If they get spotted by the eagle eyes of one of these, well, the end is potentially in sight. See, preening all the way down to its legs. You can see the feathers go all the way down to the talons, the true sign of a true eagle. Oh, Amy, it's really mainly in the spelling. Beak and a bill. All birds have got a beak or a bill. It really depends on what you call it. Fingers or digits. I don't think there's really too much in the way of its differentiation. It's just two different ways of calling it. I often will call a bird of prey having a bill or beak. I don't even know anymore. I'm confusing myself. But they are essentially the same thing. They are the same thing. Maybe there is a difference that I'm unaware of, but you could use either one. Feet. It's the maths all over again, yeah. Once again, the maths and the certain terminology. I don't actually think there's any real difference in the use of it. Maybe someone out there can inform me more. Send through any comments on that matter if you like. #SafariLive or drop it in on the YouTube chat stream. Is there a real difference between the beak and a bill? Yeah, ducks have bills. Ducks have bills. The platypus has a bill, doesn't it? Does it have a beak? Duck-billed platypus. So, ducks have bills. Beaks, bills, fingers, digits. I really don't know. It's just a bit of terminology. You'll get away with whichever one you use. Okay, well, definitely down south with David, the animals he's looking at don't have either a bill or a beak.
Well, we have lost, there's a cub that we have not seen for about a week from one of the females of the sausage tree pride. That's called Kinky. And big birds of prey or raptors like martial eagles have been known to take unattended cubs. And, you know, Steve having seen a martial eagle, I may not want to point a finger to it because nobody knows for a fact what happened to that cub. Now, I just repositioned myself to show you this one particular female, which I think is the mother in waiting. And what will happen, we might have 2 new cubs or maybe 3 or 4, because lionesses will get anything between 1 to 4 cubs. The 2 mothers in this pride each got 2. You can see one of them there. Not very close to the mother, but lions being very social cats. The cubs could be with anybody. Not sure what she's watching. I think she's watching, or rather, a he rather, because we know it's boy. He's watching some little bird there. It's just making some rattling noise. Maybe it could be a cisticola. And boys being boys, you can see how muddy he looks. Not as clean as the other adults there. His fur is full of mud. Paula, you'd want to know if a lioness will sleep more when she is pregnant, and my answer, as much as I could not be 100% sure, I would say yes, because she doesn't need, or when she's just about due, she doesn't need to make a lot of movement. She'd want to stick in one area, and Paula, I would say yes. When pregnant, and especially coming very close, say to 95, 96, going to 100 days, she may tend to reduce her mobility, just making sure all goes well when she drops the cubs. So this particular Paula is the one that I'll give it a maximum of 24 days. So, 24 hours, sorry. And I'm looking at tomorrow or the day after. We might be having some good news and new bundles of joy from the 3 that we got, and we might end up with 5. In the Mara Triangle, I would say the lions do thrive. There are certain game parks in East Africa or in Africa. I'll say lions just, survive. But here, lions do very well. The migration has been around, and these lions have been bringing down a wildebeest every 2-3 days. But they have been left in very good shape because most of the migration now has headed due south to Serengeti National Park in Tanzania. But because they're in very good shape, they'll be bringing down. Sorry, what did SafariLive ask? SafariLive, good to hear your name again, and you'd like to know how dangerous it would be for this female to bring down her cubs with males being very close. My guess, SafariLive, is these cubs that she's carrying, this could be one of the fathers here, and if that is the case, it'll be fine. If not, maybe when she'll be just due, she may reposition or relocate herself to a different area, and Bungay is showing you another male, and either of these two males could have mated with that one particular female, and she knows she is carrying their cubs. But if it were different, then she'll definitely not be close to them. So SafariLive, my answer would be one of these two males is the father of the cubs that she is carrying. Lion males have been known to eat or kill cubs that they did not sire themselves, so that the females shortly after will be in estrus and they will start mating, so that the males will get their own progeny, and you just won't have your own genes around you and not from other males. Sometimes the females have been known to defend their cubs fearlessly, but if they lose the battle, they unfortunately will at times let go. Very good. Now the baby's here. I don't know where the cub is very sleepy there, and having the predators here, we'll go across again to South Africa with another spotted predator.
From sleepy cats to sleepy cat, the situation does remain the same here. Just seconds ago, the lamb did stand up, but just proceeded to sit back down again. I feel that it's really unsure. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know where to go. It's probably starving. It will be cold, that much we know, because we are also extremely cold. And it just doesn't really know what to do. Not even sure if it'll know how to feed or fend for itself at this stage. It is trying to move. It's got remarkably long legs, actually, which are folded underneath the body this now. But it just probably doesn't know where to go. Whereas our cat, on the other hand, has proceeded not to move and remains exactly in the same position as before. take a look at that very comfortable cat. Now, was that question about the size of the young after birth, I think? So this little lamb, we'll take you back over to the lamb in just a second, is only a few days old, I would imagine. I don't even think it's reached a week old. So you can see that it's probably around, it's very tall, it's got long legs, maybe around between 5 and 10 kilograms, which would be somewhere between 10 and, 5 kilograms, I would say, so around maybe 12 pounds. So it's a very, very small animal, and it's probably just getting used to walking around, and this sad situation has happened. So the update is not much. Oh, did any of you catch that noise? It sounds like we do have an elephant around as well. I'm glad you heard that. So it's definitely worth staying here in this position for now. We're just taking a quick look around to see if we can sight the animal. I can't see it, but we definitely heard it. And just to update, our sleepy cat did not hear it by the looks of it. He really hasn't moved much at all. I really don't know what the outcome of this situation is going to be. And it is worth to note that nature is nature. It's unfolding right in front of our eyes right now, and we're just watching from a distance. So what happens is when nature will take its place. Yep. Oh, look at that little lamb. It's like a standoff where only one is really participating in the standoff here. I am surprised I haven't seen any hyenas around, because the kill is not far away from us at all. But it is quite a fresh kill. So the smell is maybe not so strong right now, but I do imagine in a few hours there will be a lot more activity around this site. Oh, he's having a little itch and a scratch and a lick. Come on, boy. Are you going to wake up anytime soon? I love snacks. Yes, I agree. You don't think he cares much right now. That is very much how I'm feeling too. The lamb has got up. Let's take a closer look. So now you can see those long legs I was referring to. Oh, and Hosanna is also up. Okay, both animals are up. Hosanna seems to be scratching, but they're both facing each other. This is very tense. I'm really not sure what's going to happen at this moment. I don't think the lamb's going to move much because he really doesn't know where to go. Hosanna, on the other hand, might surprise us. Once he's had a stretch or two and a scratch or two. He's definitely staring directly at the lamb. Indigo girl, yes, I agree with you. Wrong move. Okay, Hosanna's got his stocking body posture on now. His shoulders are up. He's staring right at the lamb. But the lamb is sat down. Yes, poor baby, I do agree. This could potentially be quite a sensitive sighting. We have been sitting here for some time now, and I'm just not sure what's going to happen. But our boy is definitely awake. I told you that didn't take long. The biscuit tin effect, as I like to call it. He doesn't seem to be doing much, though. He's staring. I wonder if he's aware that this lamb won't go very far. I wonder if he's aware he's a very young lamb and it's not going to run away. That is potential. So of course we don't know what's going to happen right now. It could be rather sensitive, so if you do get upset by scenes like this, it is worth maybe potentially looking away right now. Hosanna hasn't moved any further, but his eyes are fixated on this little lamb. What are you going to do, boy? You are welcome to let us know how you're feeling about this, and any comments you may have, just using that hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or the YouTube chat stream. Now, this is the first experience for me also. I haven't experienced anything like this here yet. We have been waiting very patiently, all of us, for some movement, and I think this is the first sign of movement and that something might happen. I wonder what he's thinking right now. He's woken up from a wonderful sleep and he's just staring at this lamb. And the wind is howling up here. There's a little bit more protection down there for him. And we are on a dam wall, so it's not much protection for us. Yes, Jason, I agree with you. Hosanna is such an opportunist. And it's strange knowing that this lamb's mother is up in a tree not too far from us, and this poor little lamb cannot escape his sight right now, no way. There was maybe a slight chance when he was sleeping, but not right now. He's like a statue. It's almost like he's not real. He hasn't moved an inch since staring at this young one. Oh, I'm shaking with nerves here. I really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so now we'll go over to Sydney to get a little update from his side, and we'll keep you posted on the scene in front of us right now.
I have got some evidence here showing that this is a nest, or this has been a nest to one of the birds. And when I'm looking at this evidence here, I can see that this might have been a guinea fowl. So the guinea fowls, you'll see them up in trees. So let's quickly go back to the lions.
Go back, go back, go back, go back. Go on, go back.
So just as we left you there, the little lamb moved and he got them. Hosanna got the little lamb. It happened. So we're just reversing back here at the moment. Bear with me. I'm trying to get... Oh, there's a struggle. There's a struggle. Hosanna has the lamb. So please, once again, if you are sensitive to this kind of scene unfolding in front of us, please do look away. Just as we went over to Sydney, the lamb got up and made a run for it. And Hosanna has it. This is very difficult to watch. I don't think this lamb has any way of escaping now. It is right in Hosanna's clutches. Now he just seems to be holding the lamb with these huge paws and claws. He doesn't seem to be using his teeth at the moment. Now I have seen this sort of behaviour before on various footage, and it's like he's just playing with the young. He's not intending to actually eat it right now. Oh, look at them both gazing into each other's eyes. Now, I have seen footage of leopards. Yes, I agree with those comments. He's toying with it, he's playing with it. He knows he definitely has the advantage here in every way. Look at him. He's not even looking at the lamb. He's got it in its clutches. Isn't that amazing? After all this time, we've probably been here for about 2 hours now, I think. And he hasn't moved a muscle. And the moment this lamb gets up and makes a run for it, he's on it. And of course it was the moment that we just left and went over to Sydney. Oh. There we go, he did just sink his teeth into the lamb now. And he's proceeding to carry it back towards us in this direction. Oh boy, where are you taking it? Yes, I agree, this is intense. This is the first time I have ever experienced anything like this out here. Now he is disappearing behind the bushes, but we've got him. I'm not quite sure where he's going to take this little lamb. No, he's just holding it by the neck. This lamb must be terrified. Okay, so we're just going to move forward. Yes, I agree with most of the comments. It's mixed emotions I have here right now. And it is nature. It is the natural circle of life. Now we're just getting into a better position for you. So bear with us. He has gone a little bit behind some trees. Okay, we've lost sight of him for the moment. Hold on. Believe it or not, leopards are actually really camouflaged. You wouldn't initially think so with that spotty pattern, but they are remarkably good at hiding. Okay, we got to sign in again. There we go. Now you can see, sadly, the lamb is moving its tail. It's not dead just yet. It is moving its legs, you see that? Hosanna seems to just be holding it rather than actually biting it to kill. He seems to just be carrying it in his mouth. I really have no idea what his intentions are. But it is really common for leopards to play with their food. Zan, I agree, mixed emotions. I also feel the exact same as you all. Hosanna is a leopard, we know well by now. And of course, this is how these animals feed. And being a new lamb, that is a harsh reality of the circle of life. Andy, I got your question there, and yes. Yes, he can. I just can't take my eyes off the scene and how still this cat is being. If you look at his ears, he's also listening to everything that's going on around. He's on high alert, even though he has this little lamb in his mouth. Now, the speed that this cat got up was incredible. Yes, there was a comment there that Hosanna's taken after his father, Tingana, and yes, he seems to be really grown into a man. We touched on his change in body shape a lot. He's really filling out. And he's becoming very confident, making all his own kills. He's still just holding this lamb by the neck. So you just see he did sink his teeth. Yes, he's sinking his teeth into the lamb right now. This makes very sensitive viewing, but he does have the lamb by the throat. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be dead just yet. Hosanna boy, what are you gonna do? It is really common for leopards to play with prey, especially young impalas. It's been recorded quite a lot, and that is what initially he was doing. But I think the lamb had every intention to get away and escape. Now what surprises me is he doesn't seem so full. I'm not sure why he is just sitting there with this lamb in his mouth. It is the most he's moved all morning though. So he was obviously aware of this little lamb the whole time and knew it would eventually try and make an escape. Now he still has the animal by the throat. He does not appear to be letting go. And there's not much movement from the little lamb anymore. Yes, Mary said she's listening for hyenas. We are too. There's a lot going on here. I'm just surprised they haven't made their way down. There is lots of alarm calls going on around us. So we're listening as well as looking and smelling. My head is on a swivel right now, constantly looking around to see if anything is happening around us. I'm not sure why Hosanna's staying so still. So we are going to stay and watch what happens. He has to move at some point. Oh, yep, he's moving. But we are going to send you over to Steve in the Mara with a hippo. Oh.
Well, Lauren, you're having a wonderful morning. As sad as it might seem, folks, that is nature. And, well, I know Pat and both Sydney would talk about the exchange of energy earlier, and it all goes through the system, from the vegetation to the herbivores to the predators. Nothing's that almost looks like he's waiting to be hoisted by someone. It's not dead. We've had a few ear flicks, but it just goes to show we've had so much rain last night that the ground is so wet the hippo is comfortable to just sleep there. Maybe it's been ousted from the river. Hopefully with the rain we had last night, the water levels in the river will probably have risen slightly, but the waters were getting quite low, and what that leads to is sort of a loss of habitat or territorial space within the river, and that leads to males being pushed out. MK, it does look like a boulder, very shiny boulder with ears. The only a very sleepy hippo enjoying the morning sun. What have you got there, Manu? Is that the topi? Yes, we had this male topi just next to us, and he was doing some self-adornment. And if you've never heard of that, he was basically rubbing his face and head and horns in the mud. And what that does is it makes him look a lot bigger, makes the horns look a much more heavier set. And then he stood up and ran past us to the point where Emma, the director, even thought he was being chased by something, but he just got a few beans in him, and he ran over, and then he stood on top of a termite mound. That was just over there, a mound, and he looked very regal and tall and very, very dominant. And after he scanned the entire surroundings, realized there was not a single other topi in sight. And so he decided, well, now's time to continue my feeding. Okay, well, our hippo, who is not interested in moving, let alone eating, we're going to take you all the way back down south to South Africa, where Hosanna is having himself some breakfast.
Yes, our little chief is indeed having his breakfast, although he doesn't appear to be eating. Oh. I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but it definitely looks like the little lamb is dead, which I really... I'm not sure whether he still wants to play. Just like a cat with a mouse. Okay. The lamb is obviously not dead. Sorry, I really thought it was and hoped it was. It's very difficult to watch right now. He doesn't seem, I don't feel like he has any intention to eat it. He seems to really want to play with this animal. But this impala will be very weak now. It'll be in a lot of shock as well. Yes, Steph, this is Hosanna playing. He is just a big cat, and you do often see domestic cats playing with mice and all sorts of things, and it's just behaviour similar to that. There's actually lots of footage you can view online of leopards playing with young impala for a long time before killing them. So I personally believe this is what our boy is doing right now. It's actually quite difficult for all of us to watch. This is not easy for us. But we are just observers in this environment. This is not really our domain out here. And Hosanna is just being a leopard. That is who he is. It would be much more ideal for the impala to die sooner rather than later. And yes, I agree, it is amazing that we do get to see this nature happening right in front of our eyes. And to be honest, there was a moment we were really not sure if our little chief was even going to move at all. And sometimes I think he loves being in front of our camera, and he knows exactly what Emma is saying to me right now. The minute we move away, he got up and ran. Sometimes he likes to tease us. Now the impala lamb is not moving much at all, from what I can see. Yes, Emma, he's very rude. Our boy likes to be naughty. But he still keeps looking around and listening. Like he changes his mind whether he actually wants anything to do with this little lamb or not. Deborah, no, I don't think he would just walk away. I've never experienced a situation before. Okay, so he's still not letting this lamb go. It's definitely still alive. And he's still trying to play with it. Look at that big left paw holding on to the lamb. He's still not sinking his teeth into it. He's still engaging in play. I've never seen anything like this unfold before my eyes, ever in my lifetime. We did know that he had made a kill last night. It was spotted on the damn cam. But I had no idea we were going to stumble across this. The lamb is aware that it can't go anywhere. Yes, David, I think I agree. As much as the chase, he does enjoy drawing out this kill. Unfortunately, he will eventually kill this little lamb. But he seems to be enjoying, he's well aware of his power and his ability to play and torture this little lamb. You see the way he's using his paws, his front arms. And he is holding it in his mouth, but he's not actually clamping down those jaws or, you know, holding it with those sharp incisors. And unfortunately, a cat of that size is not able to play with an impala. It's not going to work. Everyone on the vehicle right now is very tense. And I have to say, James is doing a very good job of capturing every moment of this. Yes, Safari Dragon, I agree, just like a house cat. Just the way they use their front legs and their paws and their claws. It's very similar. Except there's a lot more power behind this animal than your average house cat. I'm really not sure how long this play would go on for either. It could potentially be a long time. And now he's rolled onto his side. You can just see the baby impala's head there. It almost looks like he's just holding it, but I think he has got his jaws clamped around the neck there. Emma, can you just repeat that question? Sorry, I had a little break up there. Yes, I agree. If there was a hyena, it would have torn it apart by now. It's different behaviours and different carnivores out here. The hyena would have most likely have torn the animal apart and eaten most of it by now, actually. It definitely wouldn't have engaged in play like this cat is doing right now. Now, he has obstructed our view a little bit by the location he's put himself in, so it's not so easy to see, but I can see that the little lamb's head is moving. So again, we're just going to stay here a little bit longer and watch Hosanna, but we will go over to the Mara to see what Steve has. I believe it is an interesting bird.
Well, thank you, Lauren. We've got a beautiful black-headed heron, a youngster. Typical sidewards bobbing of the neck in anticipation for a forward thrust. Soon to catch something in the long grass. After the rains, all the animals are coming out. Probably got more frogs moving around than normal. Even rodents. Some animals pushed out of their burrows by the rainfall. Homeless. And in need of some shelter. These birds definitely will take advantage. Often that little sideways sort of shake of the head is the prelude to a very quick forward darting attack. See, those eyes are fixed on something. Probably lots of things moving around. Very slow ambush specialists, the herons. Few movements forward, better position perhaps. MDR indeed, the heron dance. We've had quite a bit of success in the last few weeks with herons hunting out here. This is their preferred habitat, sort of swampy marshlands. Look at those feet, large feet, for allowing them to walk over muddy areas. Here we go. It spotted something. Ooh, got it. There we go. That was a frog. Very good. Now that is some incredible eyesight. It was a very brown, camouflaged frog that it managed to see from a good 3 meters away, and then it darted forward and caught it. So that is incredible eyesight. And you can see the size of the eyes. It's not done yet, folks. Spotted something else. Here we go. Movement. Once it's committed, It's committed. So the bird also, while hunting, needs to be aware of martial eagles and the like soaring above, because being out in the open here, they are quite susceptible to be taken from the air. The dancing is incredible, folks. It's the very typical heron-like movements. Well, we're going to stay with this bird a moment longer while I think he's about to do one more. About to do one more catch. One more catch before we go over to David. He's going to do it. Yes, he's got little brown spots on the neck there, indicating a youngster or sub-adult. Enormous eyes, very powerful beak. And has he spotted something? Maybe I was a little bit too eager there. One more, Emma, if you don't mind. He's going to catch it. What's it going to be this time? Eyes focused. Being a predator, eyes are forward but also on the side to obviously be able to detect anything that is moving above to try and catch it or stalking up behind it. Very accurate with that beak. I wonder how many of you would be able to take your face and thrust it into a bush and come out with whatever it is you were looking for. Not an easy feat. Perfect adaptation for these birds. Very still. The calm before the storm. Yes, the heron nose is being watched. Blink, nose is being watched. I love how where the beak meets at the base of the mouth there, at the back of the mouth, how the colour changes. It's got the grey above and the white below. There must be some purpose for that. Maybe less visible from underneath and more visible and less visible from above, almost the two-tone that you find in certain fish swimming in waters, and certain eggs as well floating in waters, frogs' eggs. Here we go. He's moving forward. Is he going to catch it? That's a good 3-4 meters it's moved. He's just toying with us now, isn't he? Very nice. Almost serpentine-like movement of the head. And his large feet, as I was alluding to before, enable them to walk on quite sort of muddy terrain. Barb, indeed, it does have the coloration of a shark. Sort of that invisibility from the bottom and invisibility from the top. Something that pilots used in both World War I and World War II to camouflage their planes from planes above and below. There were different colours that they used, and in the RAF some of them actually painted their planes pink because of the morning sky made the plane invisible because of the time they were using them. All about being undetected. But here, lots of eggs, frogs' eggs, are actually camouflaged in the water so that they blend in with the bottom, and when you look at them from the bottom, they blend in with the sky. So a way of remaining undetected, hidden, camouflaged. Here we go. Here comes the nice wind-up, the wind-up of the neck. It's definitely spotted something now. You see the excitement. Lovely dance. I'd love to. Manu, can you do that with your neck? That'd be awesome, eh? You definitely win some dance competitions if you could do that. No doubt Senzo could do that. I bet you Senzo could do that. Don't you think, Emma? Snazzy, they do eat snakes. I've actually seen a photo a couple of years ago on BirdLife South Africa. It was a very popular photograph of a black-headed heron, exactly like this, that had caught a snake in its beak. And just to get back to the point before, beak and bill are synonymous with each other. They do mean the same thing. And the snake had actually wrapped itself around the bird's beak. So it had actually caught it, but then the snake had wrapped itself around, and the bird was kind of looking, going, now what do I do? It was a very, very popular photograph. So I don't know what happened in the end between the heron and the snake, but the snake was in a very difficult position. Very difficult position. But herons will eat snakes. I don't think they're top of the food list for herons. They're preferring more sort of easily caught prey that they can swallow whole. Snakes can probably swallow them whole, but it's very tricky getting them down. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, got it. What have you got there? Ah, another frog. Frogs are having a hard day in the Mara. Almost as hard as the baby impalas down in Djuma, but thank you for bearing with us for that beautiful hunt and stalk. Fantastic spending time with herons doing their thing out here. Okay, well, we're going to go over to David, who's got a similar sort of predator, just not as stealthy as the heron.
Very good. At least we have seen a kill for the morning. Well done, Steve. And we just found the Happy Zebra clan. This is the Happy Zebra clan. And Sleepy and Bungay, who is filming with me today, gave me a little bit of a scare. And he shouted at me, break, stop, lions, lions, lions. And just like, come on, Bungay. And I think he was just pulling my leg. He knew they're not lions. But from a distance, if you look at them, with that brown color and where they are at the edge of that bush, you could mistakenly see the lions. But I just corrected Bungay and told him, seeing all those wildebeest there, they would not be anywhere close if these actually were lions. But the wildebeest will tell when the hyenas will be going for them. Now, it's a very different ball game from what we saw early in the morning with all the mist when we were watching the wildebeest, and it has warmed up. The mist has been roasted and gone up. It's quite clear, and it looks very different. Not very far from where we were before, but you can see the iconic trees of the Mara Triangle, the torchwood trees that are dotted, or with the wildebeest making it like beautiful dark black flowers. Very good camera work there by Bungay. Now you notice they are eating now being a bit more calm than earlier. When it was very misty, they were eating and moving very fast. Yeah, and I'm sure M is enjoying this sighting here. You can see the light coming through the beards. These are some of the pockets that are remaining after the migration, or the main head went to south of the Mara Triangle. Paula, we got some girls that have been researching hyenas here from Michigan University for a very long time, and you want to ask, or would like to know why they're called the Happy Zebra clan. And I was talking to one of the girls the other day, and she told me there's a time they came, and when they were researching on them, and they found they had hunted a zebra for themselves. And the zebra that was being fed on had like a smiling mouth. As much as the zebra was dead, it seemed like it was still smiling because they had not touched the head. And that's how they ended up calling these hyenas the Happy Zebra clan, because that zebra, albeit being dead, was still looking happy and smiling. Paula, that's what they told me a couple of weeks ago. And I think it makes a bit of sense. But again, how they name these clans is interesting. Hello, where is the matriarch? And also in this clan, there's one lead female who has a collar on her neck, which is the matriarch. Well, I think Hosanna could be up to his mischiefs as usual.
So we have managed to get a little bit closer to Hosanna, and again, another reminder for anyone who's just slightly sensitive to scenes of nature such as this one, it is probably best to look away. Unfortunately, we did again suspect the impala lamb to be dead, and unfortunately it's not. Hosanna does really seem to want to play. He keeps pawing it. Doesn't seem to want to kill it. But of course this little lamb is very weak now and very tired. It won't have energy to play with a big animal like that. It's very, very difficult to watch. I do have water behind my eyes. This is the first time I've seen this. He's very close to us right now, and it's not easy for any of us to watch this. You can see now the sheer size of him compared to this relatively newborn lamb. His intention all morning was probably to leave this lamb to play with. And he just won't leave it alone. This has been going on for quite some time now. Yes, everyone's comments are sympathising with me. It is hard. I think everyone on the vehicle is finding it quite hard to watch. He keeps on going from pawing the animal to just almost bored of the animal. Or maybe he's hoping for more play, but of course the baby impala cannot do that. I just find it amazing how he's using his front legs here. As we've already mentioned, it is so similar to how a house cat would use theirs. Now there is an impala in the background walking right very close to us. Oh man, this is tense. We have Hosanna on the ground with a baby impala, and there's another impala about 20 meters away. I'm not even sure if Hosanna's aware of it. This is crazy. Yes, Emma, I completely agree with you. For being my second live drive, this is very tense. He doesn't seem to be aware of that other impala that walked by. He seems very intent on playing with this one, and we can see the baby's tail twitching. It's still not dead. Hosanna boy, what are you doing? Paula, I caught your name but didn't catch the question from you. I'll just get Emma to repeat it for me. Ah, yes, trying to get another impala. Good question, Paula. The impala behind is still there and is actually looking in our direction. He has got one kill stashed up the tree already that's definitely nowhere near finished. He's now playing with this baby impala. I'm really not sure if he would actively go and hunt another impala. I am really not sure what he would do. The impala in the background, I think he has spotted it. But he definitely has got his plate full right now, pardon the pun. Look at him, look at the size difference in the skulls of the small fragile lamb and an almost 3-year-old leopard. Yep, he's definitely clocked the other impala in the background there, which just seems to be standing still. Unfortunately, we do not think that it's the mum. We do believe the mum is the kill which Hosanna has stashed up the tree. So this just seems to be another impala. Another female. Oh, yep, it's running away now. Not fast enough though. If I was that impala, I would definitely be running away much faster. Not sure what it's doing down here, but it's definitely not the mother. Now you can see Hosanna's just using his teeth very gently just to grip onto this lamb. He's not actively eating it or tearing into the flesh. There's a lot going on around him right now. He has a kill up the tree, a lamb in his mouth, and he's got his eyes focused on the other impala. Now you can see the lamb twitching, so he could potentially be suffocating it right now. And in all honesty, I hope he is. I hope this little lamb gets put out of her misery soon. It's been a long morning for this little baby impala. I'm not sure whether he's intentionally suffocating it or whether he's just doing that by the sheer force of his mouth around the neck. It does seem to have gone quiet. And this is the first time I have really seen Hosanna do more than sleep. I'm taken aback by what's happened this morning. Now, I could be wrong, but the impala isn't shown any sign of movement. There's a really high chance he could have possibly just ended its life. It'll be interesting to see exactly what he does with the lamb afterwards. Will he hoist it up the tree to stash it with the other one? You can see the look of fear in this young lamb's eyes. This has definitely been a morning that I won't forget. Poor Pat got a static cat, and the minute I jump in the hot seat, action takes off. Now, just for your information, the impala in the background is still standing there, which I just find really bizarre, and I do believe our cat is staring at it. And there we go, James has got us a little view of the impala. It's really not that far away. It's definitely a female, and it's just standing there. I'm not sure if it's even aware of how close to danger it really is. And again, we are just observers in this situation. I think he has clocked that impala. I do feel he's looking in that direction. But he's still got that young lamb in his mouth. We have watched Hosanna grow up over the years, and now he's obviously become a very skilled stalker and hunter. He's definitely watching this other impala. Yes, Connie, I won't forget it too. Especially it being my second drive. But it's been a very, very hard, tough morning. I'm sure James has seen this numerous times as well, but I think he's also finding it hard to watch. I'm literally on the edge of my seat here. I don't know what our boy is going to do. He is staring intently at the other impala that's walked into the dam. And for some reason, this impala's just staring right back. It's a standoff between the two animals. Yes, Emma, it is ridiculous what is happening in front of us right now. Christian, that's a good idea. I'm really not sure if it made any noise. Would it be killed faster? I couldn't possibly answer that one, but it is interesting to think. Now, I guess it is possible that that impala that's refusing to leave the area could be the mother. It's definitely not impossible. We don't have the facts. I guess we all just assumed that the kill up the tree was the mother. But in actual fact, thinking about it now, talking you through my thoughts, this could actually be the mother, and that's potentially why it's not leaving the area. That would make this scene a lot harder to watch, much harder. And it would bring up the question, how did this little lamb get here in the first place? When we first arrived, we just made the connection that the kill up the tree could have been the mother. But actually, that might not be the correct connection. Because this impala is just watching from a distance, and I say it must be about 20 to 25 meters, which is about 65 to 70 feet away from Hosanna right now. Emma, can you just repeat that? We are going to stay here and watch what happens. Yes, okay, doke, we will do that. We will keep you posted if anything happens, but for now, we will send you over to Sydney on the bushwalk.
I am now right approaching a small head of the elephants. They are right here in front of me, and I can see they are very much relaxed at the moment. It's right here. A bit. So we are right approaching the elephants now here in front of us. They are very much relaxed at the moment, and I can see they're just stationary feeding. Look at that. So it's not alone, it's quite a small head. Look at that. You can see this elephant is so very much peaceful and not worried at all. You can see that he's feeding at the moment and just trying to listen to what is happening, which is normal. Animals, when we get to the areas, they do try to investigate and check what's happening. So you can see the ears open, trying to collect a lot of sound. So it is windy where we are, so the ears is helping them in order to get quite a lot of information. But the wind is on our favor at the moment. A very good morning and welcome to the beginning of a special broadcast. I am Sydney Niconico, and I'm traveling with Senzo, my camera operator. We have got this very beautiful elephant here at the moment. You can see that elephant is trying to go away at the moment. It's part of the small head which is right in front of us here by the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park next to the Galago Pen. Look. They are right here. It's not one, it's quite a few of them. So we're just going to move a little bit to this side so that you can have a good sighting. As I can see that this even a small baby there and also a small baby on that side. This is lovely. Look at that. You can see now that elephant is trying to move away from us at the moment, and the other ones are right there. They are all now moving away, collecting each other, going that side because they managed to pick up our movement because of the wind. The wind is not stable at the moment, so that's why now those elephants are trying to move away from us. We're going to see them nicely from here, very much stationary feeding right there. Look at that. They are right here. Look at the small one there, right at the back. You can see that one of them is looking at us like this because that one managed to pick up our presence. It's the one who managed. The wind is changing all the time. They are not that very close at the moment. It's just that the wind is the one which is changing the directions all the time. So this wind is not going towards one direction. You can see there now we've got the last one from this side also going to cross now to try and follow the others on the other side there. So the wind is making it difficult. Linda, thank you very much for such a positive comment watching from Scotland. We are right here in the bush, close contact with the elephants. The wind is changing all the time, which is making it difficult for us to approach. So now we're just going to leave them because the wind is going to make them irritated. Thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. Now, this is bringing us to the end of our very interesting special broadcast. Bye. Welcome back. We are now trying to move away from this elephant sighting at the moment, and we are heading much more towards the Galagopen area. It has been an interesting interaction between us and them, although the wind just caused them to be unsettled and decided to avoid us. So wind is one of the very most important factor before approaching an animal on foot. So we did follow the proper procedures. It's just that the wind is changing. So now let's quickly go back to Lauren with Hosanna.
Yes, we're still here with Hosanna, and it just literally in the last 10 seconds picked up a little bit. The additional female impala on the outskirts here has came a little bit closer and is still staring really intently in Hosanna's direction. And Hosanna's lifted his head and is staring right back. Again, I have no idea what's going to happen. They're very aware of each other. He's got the lamb, obviously, in front of him, but he won't take his eyes off the female impala, really, really not that far away. We're still on the edge of our seats. We've been on the edge of our seats since the start of this show. I don't know how I'm going to drink my coffee later, but I really do feel like I need one. We were having a little discussion there, and the weather was quite severe last night. The winds were very strong. There was rain. There was even a little bit of thunder. So there is a high chance, actually, that this young lamb that Hosanna has could have got separated from its mother just due to the weather. And this is how it ended up, exactly in this spot with Mr. Hosanna in the vicinity. It's like a puzzle that we're just slowly piecing together bit by bit. So we will just stay with Hosanna a little bit longer in case anything does happen. But for now, he's staying pretty still. So we are going to send you back over to the Mara to have a look at some lions.
Well, we were just heading home, and from a distance I saw some vultures gliding in the air, and looking closely found out there were some lions having some breakfast. Now my guess is these are the olololos, and what a morning it has been, seeing herons hunting and now lions eating. I had my sausages before. That's very good, and this is one of the most productive mornings we have had in a long time, eh? So there's friends of mine there in the car also enjoying the view of the Olololo pride of lions. So to see three prides, one with Steve and me with two today, I think we're doing very well. And we had a little competition between me and Steve on who will see most lions, and I think Steve will definitely now have beaten him very fairly. Yes, and M says, final control. It has been quite a drive with all the lions this morning and Hosanna the leopard in South Africa. All those are friends of ours also enjoying this epic sighting. And it's so interesting now, we have been having the migration of the wildebeest around. And Jason, you just got the words out of my mouth. I was trying to explain that we have been having the migration around and the lions have been bringing down wildebeest and zebras every other day. And I was just about, Jason, to say that, but for this particular case, they have brought down themselves a buffalo. So, Jason, that's a buffalo they brought down, and I would guess it was last night. Look at that male just holding his breath after eating a lot of flesh. I've known lions to eat in one sitting almost 60 pounds of flesh in one sitting. Look at the belly of that guy there. Dragging the buffalo. I do not know where he wants to take it. But what he's looking at, maybe he's going to be looking for a tree which have maybe some nice shade, so that when it warms up, the carcass will remain as fresh as possible. The lioness is just on the side, and I'm sure she must have eaten earlier. What a morning it has been with Hosanna in South Africa, Lauren and Pat having done a very good job, Steve Ovo in the Mara Triangle with myself, and I'm so happy. And I would like to thank all of you for having joined us this morning for such an exciting drive. Remember, we shall be out again this afternoon. Please join us, and from all of us, thank you very much and goodbye.